So over time, this workshop is not about risk management. It's about activity design and learning. If you find that you're in the wrong room, right, it's okay. I will not move your way. You can quite easily. Still stay correct. Okay, tell you that. Oh. Actually, 3 of us, right? I still don't know why we are presenting. Yes. Yeah, why not? Thanks for hitting on it. But I want to point out one thing. I think among the three of us here, all 3 of us are very passionate about facilitation, learning, and program design. So feel free to share. This should be a safe space, even though there's a recording, and that's why I'm using a mic. But feel free to just share your past and try to IE that with it. The DJ for the day is in kind. Okay, if you notice, right, from Republic Poly, and some of you are alumni of Republic Poly, which I'm very proud of, staff or student. Actually, today, half of Republic Poly staff are not here because it's an orientation. Right, so I just want to share with you, yesterday I was in day 1 orientation. We actually, unknown to maybe most of your Republic Poly, you take in a lot of students from SAF. So like yesterday got 2, right? So we asked them, hey, why you sign up for diploma in outdoor education? So one of the SAF guys say, because in the army, we also do outdoor education. Then I was quietly behind like, never mind, he needs to go through the modules. But today I'm going to ask you the same question. Is the army outdoor education? And we're going to suss up a bit of that. Wait, DJ is ready to find. Okay. So these are people guilty of the chapter. So I will drag everyone down into the water. Okay. But it was really a robust discussion, and I really appreciate everyone at T for being there, asking the dullest question. Okay, this is what we will do. Due to the interest of time, okay, just be very economical. Because later you're going to move around in groups of 4. And you're certainly sitting with someone that you're familiar with. But if you can, right, can you all try to form a group of 4? And probably not from the same organization. Try that. Okay, thanks for sharing your thoughts and catching up with your PI friends. You know what? You're talking about your mind vibration. Okay, so I think we've kind of warm up and process what we had taken away from the session just now. I just want to stand on. We have just got 3 parts today. 3 parts. 1 is the definition of OAE activities. 2, the framework that we use to design program. And thirdly, I will call it the others, but essentially it's a facilitation bit. So I mean, it's what we wrote in the standards about what is OAE activities. So based on that, right, can you tell the regular who just joined my diploma? He is not doing outdoor education in the army. Which part? I mean, it depends on his vocation, but he's from the commandos, right? So I would suspect less of the environment bit, less of the interpersonal, maybe very high of interpersonal, less of intra. So big. Okay, but let's try to do some thought exercise here. So based on what you read just now, who thinks A X throwing is an intake? Okay, don't discount it. X throwing is an outdoor adventure activity. If you think so, please raise your hand. Like I think you're okay, who thinks number 2? Racing. Well, why not the race part? It's more for sporting outcomes, right? When you do like activity guys, probably though. Oh, the third one, so very ubin, like going to the Roto sky. So who takes no, C is outdoor adventure activity. Please raise your hand if you think so. Okay. Not bad, not bad. About D, our classic hydro course. You know why saying okay. So, well, actually, these are really very commonplace adventure activity. Actually, we are just judging by the picture lah. So a lot of time, we are all professionals here, right? Sometimes people are just doing it recreationally, and there's no intentional planning of the outcomes. So actually, I can easily say none of them are outdoor education because I don't know what was the design behind it. And you give X showing some chance lah. Maybe they facilitating internet service. Yeah. What? Say your Michelle. That is very small or intrapersonal outcome, right? So I mean this is the facade, but we need to go a bit deeper. So you need to take another look, right? It's intentional lah. It's got about learning the skill. It's about intrapersonal. And there's environmental competencies about living in the green space. I must share in RP we spent like 2-3 lessons on definition of outdoor education. Very painful. Right, so like Farah not like that, very painful when she on the student there. Okay, so we are not gonna go there. So we established already, right? So now we're gonna move to the next part. About the design and the facilitation. So in Singapore standards, we are using ADDIE model. So some of you are trained in instructional design, like tuning. Okay, and you know that there's a lot of design of instruction frameworks up there. Yeah, I will not embarrass myself by saying whatever I have to remember. But ADDIE is actually one of the most common ones. A lamentation as an academic style working RP is that we don't have one that's of our own. But this is pretty universal, so we're going to use this in our design. And don't worry, you're going to work soon. You're going to work soon. Yeah. Well, I'll just run through very quickly. It is actually in stages. So the first stage is HICS analysis, program scope, operation scope. So you come to the client, you understand what their learning needs are, where they want it to be, the operational scope, how many power boat to how many kayaks. Or these are the operation scope or the program scopes. Okay, there's also the design consideration because after you found out the needs, you are supposed to design the whole program and then you check back with them. And they say, okay, we are gonna go ahead. And this is where you do the operating parameters. And of course, the outdoor program happened. And you also evaluate it. So typical, right? Very typical process. Maybe I just want to share a common misunderstanding among learners of this module. This model is that evaluate doesn't happen at the end. Evaluate happens throughout. So if you are from time to time checking with the client, hey, is the program okay? How's the instructor? You are actually doing evaluation from time to time. Okay, so it's ongoing and formatively. Okay. So it's time for you to work. Okay, so because you all come from different organizations, right? I think it's really very exciting to so many different experience here. We had planted on the side the stages. Okay? You don't worry, there's one ADDIE here and one ADDIE here. The only difference is color, that's all. Okay? You can choose, I think you can remove in your groups of 3 or 4, and then there's post-it pad on the floor. Please feel free to write one action you do under each stage. Like what you do in your organization or for yourself as a program designer. Please write legibly. Font size what?
Be enough to see because we need to scan this and record this as a document. Yeah.
Okay, so font size 40 at least above. Okay. Your write as legible as possible. I would like to point out something. There will be very stark differences because some of you don't need to go through ITQ and then you start running a program with your client. So you have to go to the ITQ. In the ITQ, your parameters are already set quite clearly. So there are differences. So I read, let's embrace and hear from your experience in a program designer. Okay, boss, how much time we have first?
20.
Okay,
10 minutes for this one, then after that they will do it.
okay, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, okay. I say cool, then you go and okay, y'all can go here. Hey, so please, everyone write something, okay. Okay, can I invite you all to share your last piece of sharing, and then we get back to our seats. All right, I will start now. Just a quick roundup of what you all shared. Actually, my point is, actually in this room, right, if there's a war, right, I'll get all of you in my team, because you are all very ops people. I see the implementation, wow, solid, man. Wow, get the manpower, everything in. So that's the one pride I have working with people from the outdoor industry. We are very strong ops people. Anything happen, we will be able to do it. I'll just address some of the gaps we observe after reading through what you have put on the charts. Okay, maybe we'll just start off on Analyse. So we observe that most of you got it, is to get to know the needs of the learners, get the needs of the school, for example. But we also noticed that maybe the part on program scope is not very clear. Ops scope is not very clear. So just now, I was giving an example. So suppose you see an ITQ or request saying, I would like my program to take place at Pulau Ubin. Okay, and I would like to have, I don't know, a buffet at the end of the program at Pulau Ubin. Yeah. Okay, I think some of you are like, I already done it already, but very difficult. Okay. Okay, so this is the stage where at the Analyse part, operationally, the scope is like that, as required by client, and that's the part where you negotiate and see whether there's some adjustment. If no can do, right? Okay, likewise, program scope. I think we have, among us, have clients who said, hey, you run the camp, and I like to have MBTI as part of the camp. That's part of the programming needs. But you're like, hey, you know what, in my company is training MBTI. So no can do, right? So there's a lot of understanding of the scope of the program and the ops at this stage. So far, okay? Right, can I move on to the next stage? All right, next one. Okay, for the design part, right, once again, our ops mic came in, very good, all the needs analysis, everything. So I would only highlight what I wrote on the whiteboard. Actually, if the client, sorry, I know some of you all hear this before. What if the outcome of your program is teamwork and cooperation? Between abseiling and improvised rafting, which one will you all choose? Improvised rafting, right? See, all our pros or no. Simply because at the design stage, after we've heard from our client, we want to choose the activity. So we noticed that actually, you all didn't mention about choosing the suitable activity. That is part of the Singapore should standard. Okay, besides, let's just say improvised rafting again, teamwork and cooperation. There's also the part of designing, right? I'm sure in this room, some of you have designed the part where for primary school kids, we tie the frame for them, they just tie the barrier. For the JC, Poly, let them tie, let them give them the material, let them go and work out, problem solve and build the raft, right? Because the needs are very different. So I just want to highlight the choosing, the selection of the activity matters a lot in your design. Okay? Okay, last part, right? We also noticed that, if I'm not wrong, we also didn't see sequencing in your program. Right? So I think no one will do pamper pull as the first activity, unless you're doing some high-level selection or anything. No, right? Usually you have the hardest, most challenging activity at the end. This one is enshrined in the MOE guide. So the most challenging part. So sequencing is also not present under design. And there are some other should statement, which is what's your teaching and learning model? For example, okay, we have program where we have time, and because of the learning objective, we actually let students figure out how to paddle from one place to another. So we don't need to, besides the safety briefing, we don't go very heavy on the skills teaching. But certain activity, your teaching and learning is different. You teach them to the T how to paddle to the next point, right? So this have to be part of your design too.
All right, as well as some other small things like your material, what are the materials you need for your program. Okay, so that's under design. Up to this point, I've spoken about analyze and design. I paused for a while. Anyone have any questions about these two stages? Okay, don't have. Okay, thanks for. Okay. Okay, and the develop part, I think our ops mind, as I told you, if I go on the wall, I'll get you guys in my team because everything is covered. Just a few small things. We notice we don't see any bit on the Alfred's question just now, permits. So actually, in part of development, we need to have permits with the authorities. For example, you need to cross a channel, you need to use part of NParks. And one missing item is the preparation and training of your staff. But other than that, the rest are good. I can't help but notice over there, someone wrote, choose the right staff. Choose the right staff with the competency. Those staff are so very good. Other than that, implement and evaluate. Same feedback as I front-loaded just now. Our evaluation doesn't only happen at the end, but throughout. Actually, at Analyse, right, you need to check back with your client whether what you gathered is correct. So the feedback is needed. The design also, I have my plan already. Dear client, what's your feedback about it? And so on and so forth. So evaluation actually happen at every stage. So this is what our observation so far about the ADDIE model. Okay, I paused for a while also. Any question before I hand over to Namjin? His is more fun. Any more? Don't have? Okay. Okay, the more fun part is here. Okay.
Let me just introduce myself. My name is Namjin, and I see many familiar faces, and I also see some very different face, new face. I hope to get to meet you, or you can come out to me and chat with me. That's fine with me, okay? For this part, we talk about learning and design, then there's facilitation, because with the learning, and if you design a good program and you leave it as it is, then the outcome is quite variable, right? And so you need to facilitate, because facilitation takes you to the end where your learning outcome is achieved. But we all know that when you design a program and you do all the steps that the IChin has brought you through, there will still be a lot of surprises that come your way on the actual day. And sometimes your client will say, oh yeah, they are all good. This group of people, they are all fit, they're ready to go, they're very excited. But then they come out, they got the people with different kind of abilities. Then you say, oh, never read the fine print, right? Then you're surprised. Then what do? Right? You have to deal with it. So this part of facilitation, I want to go into this facilitation on the context of you've already done your analysis and you talk to your client A to Z, and you kind of like, okay, you have a good idea what they are and what they are able to do and what they want to achieve at the end of the program. And so the day comes, the actual day comes, right? Then, that's where you go into action. And I want to say that facilitation is not just about sitting people down and say, oh yeah, how's the day? What did you learn, right? What did you see? Because that's quite challenging for me, at least I'm concerned. When I used to do that, then I realized that the outcome is very variable. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes most time don't get it, and then I just have to walk away thinking, well, what can be done better? So when we were discussing these standards, we thought about, is that my cue to hand back to you? So when we started discussing these standards, right, we came from an angle of thinking, how can the standards pave the way to help you have a better outcome, learning outcome? Can't guarantee 100%, but a better way to do, and then you can get your learning outcome as much as possible. Right, so and on this point, I want to call upon my volunteers. So when I came in the room, I wrote some volunteers, some people that I've known for ages. So I want to call my volunteers. Would they please come to the front? Yes, all of you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Susanna, I also pointed to you. And then I need Timothy and Ashley, come over here. Come on down. I need six people, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, Ashley, you're spared. You're spared. Yeah. Tim, come down. Okay, so the context is these are my participants. We've gone through a thing, and now we're on a day 1, right? I'm going to do an activity with them. And so, this activity is about tossing balls. You've done all this before, right? But I want to show you how I would approach it. And I want you to be involved. You will be observers. Later I'll ask you for some observation. Please, I expect to hear some observation. Okay? So everyone take a ball, please. Yes. Okay, good. So everybody's got a ball, right? So what I'll do, I will start my meeting my group. I say, of course, we've done all introduction. I say, okay, guys, we're going to do some activity, one ball toss challenge for the day. It will be a very meaningful activity. And by the end of this activity, you're going to take away a lot. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to bounce the ball on the ground. Yes, and catch it. Any hand. Okay? Yeah, keep bouncing. Yeah, okay, good. Right. And that's good, very good. Okay, we stop there. Now, the next task, okay, and it's just a warm-up only, right, is to toss the ball upwards, okay, upwards, and then receive with the hand. Okay, stop there. Now, I want to ask you, what do you observe from this simple exercise, this pre-activity exercise? Anyone? Raise your hand. I mean, just shut up. What do you observe of this participant of mine? Wonderful participant. Don't judge. Yeah, different motor skills, right? Can you tell me what do you mean by motor skills are different? Okay, so you spotted someone who is a bit of psychomotor challenge, right? So yeah, okay. So is that important? Is that important information for me? It is, right? Because on the paper, my clients say, all good to go, right? And I say, yeah, okay. Now I see for myself. Now, there's someone who's very, very subtle. I'm not sure whether you catch it. I don't even see it, despite my instruction. There's someone here has a condition. Do you spot anything? Anyone? Don't have. I don't think so, because I also didn't see, because failed. But so anyway, I want to introduce Tiago. He's socially very awkward, okay, very shy. And to make him feel better, he actually need to place his hand on somebody's shoulder, like Tim. Right? Yes, and he usually looks away. He looks down on the floor. So tossing a ball is not great for him, because then, right, so tough, right, tough. So I'm going to do this activity. So from this kind of warm exercise, I ascertain the kind of goods that I get. And then now I think, what am I going to do, right? What am I going to do now? I'm going to do this ball toss activity already. So then I said, okay, guys, I want you to stand in 2 lines, face each other, okay? Now we're going to do this activity now. This wonderful activity I told you about, like you're going to have great learning. All right, so now I'm going to ask you a question. Who do you think I want to start the ball toss activity with? Anyone but him? Okay, yes? Well, yes and no? Yes, correct to say if you toss up and then, catch no ball, they say, right? But my friend here, I already know, because he's not going to participate that much, right? So I said, Tiago. And we have a conversation at the side. I said, yeah, he doesn't really want to do this, and his ball toss is not great, and is that kind of feels shameful a bit, right? So I said, Tiago, I have a way out for you.
Go back home.
No. Because you're here to maximize your learning, right, Tiago? And I know that you need to put your hand on somebody. That's like how I put your hand. You feel better?
Yep.
So you see that guy over there? He's your shoulder, right? So go ahead and put your hand on the shoulder, right? Yeah, and you can You can hand me this ball. It's okay, because when Tim received the ball, you will also put your hand on his ball. Pun not intended, okay? So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start with someone very special, because I already identified someone who's not good with receiving balls, okay? And as a facilitator, I will cleverly and very subtly walk beside the person, that the person wouldn't know that I'm trying to do this all in my head already. Say, wow, guys, so we ready to start the activity? Well, I might as well start from the person on my right? Which is Grace. Grace, all you need to do is to toss the ball to somebody across you. Actually, you only need one ball, okay? You toss that ball away. Yeah. So you only need to toss the ball to someone across you. Not someone beside you, but someone across you. You think you can do that? Right? Tossing is great. You do well at tossing, right? Wait, no. Right. Ready? And so the rule of the game is you need to, when you receive the ball, you need to toss it to someone. Not to the left and right, but across you. And the last person to receive it must be Tim. Must be Tim. You get it? So how are you going to toss it? I don't know. But the last person, it must be Tim. Your hands on the Tim. Right? So, ready? Okay, ready, go. Yeah, okay, you can do that, yeah. Yeah. So, without trying to do too many times, you get bored, right? So you see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to max out the participation rate for my group, right? And to get everybody involved, kind of find out where they are and react along the go, right? So, but imagine if I had stuck to my plan that I had designed the day before, then you will have a lot to deal with, right? And participation may not be all that fun, right? So that's an example of how I want to quickly flash out the next. I want to give you. Oh, stay where you are. Stay where you are. All right. So there you go. Right. Assessing the learners. You need to assess their ability, their physical safety, emotional well-being, and of course, if my actors were better, you would have identified Tiago, who is a bit more too close proximity, cannot, right? So are they turning up emotionally well? You know, are they feeling uptight? So these are the things. Secondly, you need to adjust your activity, like what I did. I adjusted the activity very cleverly, so that none of the participants feel that, oh, I'm giving them special attention or adjustment. They feel that, oh, I'm the reason why it's adjusted, right? And now, before going to debriefing, all my players, please come back again. Yes, please, thank you. Now, I want to ask you a question now. If this preliminary activity proves that they are able to do it, they're actually getting there. I'm thinking, well, what will you be thinking as a facilitator? Anyone? Having done a few runs, you're doing okay. How to stretch them, right? So now I ask the same question. How would you stretch them? What would be some ideas that you can make it more challenging for them? Oh, distant? Yeah, okay. Put a distance? Yeah. You think this will be more challenging? It will, right? It will. What other kind of ideas? Maybe one or two more. And another ball, yeah? Sorry? Okay, yeah. And another ball. And, yes? Durian. Be careful what you ask for. No, durian. Add another ball, a different kind of ball. Because if you have a basketball and a tennis ball, they bounce differently. They fly through the air differently. And so people need to, time themselves better. Or maybe the smaller ball, the super ball or marble or a durian. No, That one doesn't conform to SS710 safety. So many ways to make it more difficult. So as a facilitator, as an outdoor educator, you need to have some of these assets around and in tweaking the difficulty level to the point where they're suitably challenged, yeah, maybe through timing, right? And then you get them to a point. What point is that? To a point where their learning is achieved, they learn something, they experience something, and then you go on to debriefing technique. All right. At this point, I want to thank my demonstrator. Give them a round of applause. Ooh. Okay, so when it comes to debriefing, right? Now, trust me on this, right? If you set this up nicely, you set yourself up for success. Okay, and when you go into a debriefing, you can ask the most simple question. They will give you a lot of responses. Okay, but for today, and I know I'm covering some of the things you already know. Some of the debriefing could be through reflection. Very good for people who are not too keen on talking because it's a big crowd, and you might, like what we've done with you, using the Post-it. I'm not saying you're not the kind of person who Post-it works, right? It could be framing an experience, and we know that framing there are different kind of framing. One is realism, like it's just a ball, right? And then there could be, on the other extreme, fantasy. You can create all kinds of fantasy character, and that can excite them, particularly those who are very, very young, and they love it. And observation, like what I did with you, right? I got you to observe some of the people in action, and then getting the observers from the participating group, so that you don't have to shoulder the burden of being coming across as judgmental or favoritism, or trying to gaslight somebody in a group, right? And usually when young people, or not just young people, even for ourselves, right? You hear it coming from among the peers. It's much better than coming from someone else that you don't know. And then there's teachable moments. This in teaching, this word is a very popular word, right? Through ages, teachable moment. The teacher observes the class, walks with them, and observe, and then doesn't step in too quickly and say, but leave it to a right time, and then they come in, and then they facilitate that learning, right? And so these are the few debriefing techniques. And finally, the sense of place. Okay, this one I can't do because we only sat here for like an hour or so. So there's no sense of place I can give you other than what you're sitting on. But when you are thinking about designing a camp at a special place, you might think about what's unique about that place. There is always something unique about that place because there was something there, and there is something now. And what will it be in the future? Right? And there's always things that cannot be seen by the eyes. Folklores, myth, stories, acts of valor that happen. Right? So things that you can try to incorporate. And you can do this by setting aside time for a participant to sit on a special place they choose, just 5 or 10 minutes every day, just to hear, close their eyes, wander around. And this helps to create a sense of place. Perhaps sense of place in terms of the bearing, where they are facing, where does the sun set, where would they want to be when they want to have some coolness, where would they want to put their wet clothes when they need to, right? And this creates a understanding emotionally and physically and creating a sense of place. We don't have time to go into it deeply. But if you would like to speak, I volunteer all the MOE teachers here. They are very good at the sense of place. So these are the 4 things that I want to cover with you. I hope you have a better understanding of what I'm trying to convey to you in a more active and participative way. Okay, pardon me. Any question? I'll take a couple of questions Now, before I hand the time back to my next speaker, yeah, well, it looks like the feedback is good. I've done my job. Well, thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Actually, I got a question. I own self ask, own self answer. I think we are all practitioners here, right? Do you think logically, right, which one fit our current state of practice at this moment? All four? Does all of your practice sense of place? Some yes, some okay. Well, I need to share with you that just now remember that grammar lesson that we had: should, shall, can, may, right? Okay. So I just want to point out that the headings are the shall. So we have to assess the learner, we have to adjust the activity, we have to do some form of facilitation. That's the shall. Semua everyone must do lah. But the one in the bullet point, right, are the, want to guess what? What grammar word is that? What word? Should lah, okay. Then sense of place, I think reading the state of our industry at this moment is really highly recommended. So it's really, if I'm not wrong, it's should, right? Should, right? So we haven't imposed that it's a shall yet, okay? So there are some other things that we didn't put here, like for example, the provider need to have a facilitation plan and need to have opportunity for participants to ask questions. But those are in the details of the standards. Okay, right? All right, with that, right, these are just the details. Hey, you want to read or I just, don't need lah, thanks. May give me the, hey, come on man, no. Okay. Okay, so with that, can I, the whole session is here, Yan Kai is here, Namjin is here, I'm here, as well as, I think Delane just stepped in, but he left again. Yeah, I think ADDIE is there, a lot of us are here. So feel free to ask questions. Not say hold your peace lah, later also can ask. Anyone have any question? You got anything? Don't have, huh? Okay lah, fun lah. Over already. Okay, it's over, guys. All right. Adios. Bye. Sorry, I will just make a few koyot selling here. The Association for Experiential Education is bringing Dr. Simon Priest to Singapore in May. So if you want, you can look at the RP booth. We are not running it. AEE is running it. So if you're keen, it's on the 9th and 10th of May. Workshop masterclass by Dr. Simon Priest. Okay, that's one. Second, Republic Poly is hosting, we are running a part-time diploma. Okay, so if you are keen in sponsoring your staff for a part-time diploma in outdoor education, look for the guy without hair, Alan over there. Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. Don't hide. Okay, sorry guys. See you at lunch.